Different levels, I cannot relate. You never win if you playing it safe. It's all a game until you get played.
Welcome to It's Culture Podcast. Tonight, I got a good one for you guys. Thank you all so much. And a lot's been going on. A lot has been going on. We had the Diddy Trial start. We're going to talk about day 3 and day 4 today. I'm going to give my take. Tory Lanez and Meg Case, some new interesting information came out in that case. We're going to talk about that. We're going to kick the show off with that one, actually. Rodney Hinton, the man who is accused of killing a police officer in Cincinnati, has a lawsuit. We're going to talk about that. And then, what's up with all this talk about Derek Chauvin being pardoned? We're going to talk about that as well tonight. Sorry about this. My throat is kind of scratchy. But if you could do me a favor, hit the like button, hit that share button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so we can get all the updates. Excuse me, you guys. We're over 13,240. 13,234 subscribers now, I think. At the time of me recording this and going live with you guys. So I appreciate that because y'all keep rocking with me. Y'all keep supporting the channel. I appreciate that. Y'all help me grow the channel by hitting that like button, share button, subscribe button. Let's get the conversation going. The chat is open, so you all can utilize that to communicate. And let's get it started. So as I was saying, Tory Lanez earlier this week was stabbed 14 times and while he is in prison in California. Now, we know he's been incarcerated for a while now. He's serving a 10-year sentence for shooting Meg Case in the foot. But there's some new reports and some new, I guess you would say, witness testimony has came to light in this case. And now the family is calling for Tory to be released. He's already, almost was stabbed to death. He is recovering, and his family did say that he is recovering very well. Wish him nothing but the best with the recovery. You don't want to see people getting stabbed and stuff like that. Come on now. So we don't want to see that. So, but let's listen to this new evidence in the case. Fair use, fair use, fair use.
Bringing it to light now was made necessary by the events of this week.
Just days after rapper Tory Lanez, also known as Daystar Peterson, was attacked in prison, his attorneys are calling on Governor Newsom to pardon or commute his sentence, insisting they have new evidence Lanez didn't shoot superstar Megan Thee Stallion, but it was instead her former best friend, Kelsey Harris.
This is not new in the sense that this theory was already out. So the theory of Tory shooting Meg has always been one that people have always argued about. For the longest, people have always speculated that it's always been Kelsey. But what is about to be said is what's new.
And they say Harris's one-time bodyguard, Bradley James, was spurred by conscience to come forward.
Mr. James informed Unite the People that he was witness to the conversation Miss Harris had where she stated she had the gun, she fired it 3 times. In essence, Mr. Peterson never shot anybody.
Walter Roberts says the statement aligns with another witness who saw two women fighting. Lanez is serving a 10-year sentence after being convicted of shooting Stallion in the Hollywood Hills back in 2020. The singer testified against Lane and in an op-ed wrote, quote, "Even as a victim, I have been met with skepticism and judgment."
Now, she wrote this after this op-ed, talking about this. And the reason why is because she went on Gayle King's show and straight lied about the relationship that she had with Tory. So that's the reason why she came under a lot of scrutiny. But as I said earlier, the part about the shooting, that was always thought about because there is another witness. Y'all heard them say, a witness say they saw two women fighting.
We didn't hear back from Stallion's attorney and couldn't reach Harris for comment. Lanez's lawyers say they've had the new evidence for months and were waiting on the appeals court to rule, but went public after he was stabbed in prison.
He was stabbed 14 times.
The rapper's father, Sunstar Peterson, says his son is recovering remarkably well, but recounted the story Lanez told him.
And I quote, "Dad, I thought it was my last. And having made my peace with God, I said, okay, God, is this how it's supposed to end for me?" But God said no. God told him, "Do not give up."
The family and legal team insist Lanez was never given a fair trial, raising questions about the prosecution and investigation. But now say Lanez can't wait for the appellate process to play out.
Okay. So what do we say? You got this new bodyguard, Kelsey's one-time bodyguard, saying he overheard this and he feels bad, so now he's coming out with this. Now, I don't know where this man came from. I don't know. They said they was waiting on the appeals process, so they was waiting on the legal system. They thought they had a nice appeal, but after Tory got stabbed in prison, they have expedited this and they want Tory out of jail, considering the fact that they have a guy who we don't know if he's been on record or do they have a sworn affidavit by him saying this. However, they're asking for Tory to be pardoned or either his sentence to be commuted and he be able to get out, considering the fact that he just got stabbed 14 times in prison. And he is a celebrity, so he is a high profile inmate. I don't know what to think. Why this guy now decided to come out with this? He say he felt bad, but you was letting this man be in prison for all this time. What is it? Was he getting paid? Like, why would you do so? If you knew this information from the get-go, regardless of how you felt about the situation, why would you just withhold it? I don't know. I wasn't there. None of us were there. There's only 3 people that truly know what happened. Maybe a 4th, right? That's Meg, that's Kelsey, that's Tory, and the driver of the vehicle. That's what we know. Those people know exactly what happened. Perhaps, maybe they do this in an appeals court and they have this guy testify to what he heard. He has to be willing to testify. I mean, they called his name out, so we know exactly who he is. So I would suspect that if he was called to give some testimony, that he would provide that testimony. And I know that the cross-examination would probably be about why you took so long to actually come forth with this. I don't know. I don't know if I'm buying it. We just have to see how this goes. So, I'd be curious to know what y'all think about this. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the chat. I'll be curious to see what y'all comments is about this one. But let's keep it moving. So, the Diddy trial, y'all. Days 3 and day 4 has all about Cassie. Now, yesterday, the prosecutors got the opportunity to do their thing, and more of the same as we talked about on the first, on my episode Tuesday night, the day 1, day 2 recap. It was just more of the same. So Cassie was on the stand. They went through the relationship. The prosecutors had her recant, different sex acts Diddy had her perform. If you heard some of the reports about it, that it was some graphic stuff. And listening to some of the things that they were into, you're like, dang, Puffy is a kink, man. This dude was it's just some wild stuff. Like, y'all ever seen those episodes like Real Sex when they used to come on HBO? I'm telling my age. They used to come on. They used to have all this weirdo sadomasochism, BDSM stuff that they were doing. Like, this is the stuff that Diddy was into. Just some of the stories were so graphic. You just like, what? Like, you put what on his nipples? Like y'all are wild. Just absolutely wild. And but I didn't really hear anything that was reported from the reporters that made me think that it was like some criminal acts, So day 4, more of the same, more recant. Today, the defense had their opportunity to, question Cassie. And in regards to the relationship, they went through talking about some text messages that she had said and things that she talked about when she mentioned she liked the freak offs and more of the same. So I don't think that we've learned anything more about Diddy from a criminal standpoint than anything else besides it being like DV and him being like a sex demon. Like, they just doing some wild stuff because, Cassie did say that she liked some of the stuff. So I don't know how this is turning. Maybe it was the power because of the dynamic of the relationship, how long, they had been together, the way that he had her in that 10-year contract. So maybe it was manipulation, but I just don't see it as being RICO. Not just yet. Perhaps, this case is 8 weeks, going 8 weeks. So, but after 4 days, I don't think we've learned anything too much that we didn't already pretty much know. Besides, we got some graphic details of some of their sex acts. And that's just pretty much it. Cassie talked about, picking out some of the guys, and, it was, her husband stormed out the courtroom because after hearing some of this stuff, I'm pretty sure he didn't know his wife was a kink like that too. She was performing these acts. I don't, if it was coercion, perhaps, but she performed the acts and she went into great detail about what she was doing. So, maybe some of this stuff, he didn't know. She talked about the drug use and them using drugs and, being high on all this stuff, for a couple of days and doing IV drips. Like, they're just having some straight wild sex benders for days on end, just up and just raw when it's over with. Just kinky stuff. Just that's what they were doing. So, like I said, I don't know if this is a RICO because they said he was running a criminal organization. Now, I know we haven't gotten to the meat and potatoes yet. I don't know who else is testifying, but if Cassie was the star witness, I just don't get how we get there. We saw the video. We know about, the incident in the hotel when, he assaulted her. We saw that. But that's just domestic violence. But now she was doing the drugs. They were drugged out. We see how the defense played this. And I just can't get there. Not right now. As this case goes along, because, this still is a long trial. Perhaps it may get there. But right now, just based on what Cassie said, we don't get there. We don't get the RICO from Cassie's testimony. I don't think we learned anything new that wasn't already alleged and read in the affidavit. I think that it was pretty much what we thought it was. The prosecution was going to make it seem like it was coercion. The defense was going to make it seem like it was consented. So nothing new. Don't know how the jury is looking at this. I mean, how the people on that jury are taking this into account when they're thinking about the charges to which he is being prosecuted. Because he's not being prosecuted on being a domestic violence woman beater. Like, he's being prosecuted because they say he ran a criminal organization that was powered by sex, money, and murder. You know what I'm saying? So that's what he is being charged with. And like I said, we haven't gotten there yet. So y'all let me know what y'all think about it. Are y'all seeing it like that? Are you seeing it any different? Perhaps you might be looking at it differently. And if you think it's different, then hey, let me know. I'll be eager to see what you say. So, and then we got this guy here, Mr. Rodney Hinton. This man right here, y'all. I'm going to blow this up for y'all because I want y'all to see this man, all right? I'm going to blow this up. There we go. Let's blow Mr. Hinton up, right? Let's put him on the screen so we can blow him up. All right? So, Rodney Hinton, if y'all don't know, I'm up here in Ohio. So, this is right down the road. Well, not really right down the road. I mean, about 2 hours away from me. I'm outside of Columbus. This is in Cincinnati. And this is all over the news up here. This case. It's been all over the national. I think it's been getting national attention as well. Just because of what happened. Now, the day before, let me put it in perspective. 4 teenagers are alleged that they were still in the car. They got into a chase with the cops. Cops chased them. They said that his son, Rodney Hinton's son, pointed a gun at the police, and they shot him, a couple of times, and he died on his way to the hospital. And then after they saw, the family went and viewed the body cam footage. Mr. Hinton here, Rodney, was so enraged that they had to come try to control him. They took him away. He came back to get his vehicle. And then he proceeded to travel home in a rage, came up on an officer who was directing traffic at the University of Cincinnati, and decided to plow into the man and kill him there on the spot in a retaliation fueled primarily by watching the body cam footage of his son being murdered. Now, up to this point, Mr. Hinton didn't have a criminal record. Pretty much an outstanding citizen, didn't do anything. Some people are saying this is temporary insanity. It's tragic. Now, as he's been coming to court, he hasn't gotten a bond. He went to a bond hearing. First time he went to arraignment, the police department was there in droves. There was like 100 of them in there. And now, because of all this, the scars on his head, they say he got beaten by some cops while he was in jail. The family has, somebody on behalf of the family, on behalf of Rodney Hinton, has filed a lawsuit saying that, it's intimidation, his civil rights is being violated. and all that. Now, his attorney is not agreeing with the lawsuit, but they are seeking $5 million, in damages for one, and $20 million in like punitive damages. So like $25 million total is the lawsuit. He's saying that he's been deprived of his civil rights while he's been locked up because he killed a cop. And he's coming into court, and like I said, every time he's been in there, it's been a drove of cops in there. So they're coming in deep. So I don't know if that is, they stand against him. They just coming in, is this trying to show solidarity? If this is like a show of force, I don't know what it is. But he's not, Rodney, if you look at him right there, he's smiling when he comes in. He's not looking at the cops and thinking, holding his head down and, feeling sorrow. No, he's walking with his chest up. So, very, very interesting. Now, I don't know this man's psyche. I can't, in that moment, I can't only fathom what my mind would be. So I'm not going to condemn this man for what happened. It's a sad thing. That he took a life because of this, but I don't know this man's psyche. I don't know the relationship this man had with his son. I don't know how he felt in that moment. I can't fathom that because I haven't experienced that, so I'm not going to kind of speculate on how that man feels, because I have a son, and I only have one, and I know how I feel about my son. And if anything was to happen to him, I would, who knows in that moment what would happen, especially if after you've seen the body cam footage and what is being alleged, it doesn't seem like it happened on the tape. And then because of that, this man has seen this body cam footage and he is in so much rage because there is still an element that the son was shot and killed. So that part is still out there. The cop who shot him is on administrative leave right now while they investigate. So there's still that part going on while the other side of the family is dealing with this. A retired sheriff, unbeknownst, just volunteering, loses his life because this man went postal. He just lost it, snapped. It's possible. It's possible this was temporary insanity. It's possible. He just snapped. He wasn't in his right frame of mind. We don't know. He's going to trial. They're holding him without bond. You say his civil rights is being violated in there. I can only imagine. If the sheriff deputies are not in there, let the correction officers let some things go. I can only imagine they coming in there, being a little aggressive with them so they can beat on them a little bit. I can only imagine. This is jail. Things do happen. I mean, it is alleged that he murdered a cop. Cop killers don't do well in jail. But like I said, maybe it was temporary insanity. So we have to wait till the courts go. We have to wait to see how this case goes. But it's interesting that the family, or a representative of the family of Mr. Hinton has filed this lawsuit. And it's also interesting that his attorney is not in agreement with the lawsuit. Very, very interesting. So we'll see if the attorney stays on the case, or we'll see if this lawsuit gets thrown out. We'll see. But as this case progresses, I will let you all know. Y'all let me know what y'all think about it. How do y'all feel about this? Dude, like, in the moment, like, can he really be judged on this? Can we really say, can he really be judged? What would you do if you just found out your kid was murdered by a police officer and you went and thought of body cam footage and what they said you don't think happened? Tell me what y'all think in the chat. And then finally, you know, I'm concerned about this. I'm very, very concerned. This right here, I'm concerned about this. I really am. Now, there is a big push out here to have Derek Chauvin pardoned by Trump. I don't know what the right's obsession is with Derek Chauvin and George Floyd. Why they keep want to relitigate this? Why they keep want to continue this? The man that had appeals. I mean, he's going through the court system. Why are you all trying to get Trump to pardon this man? I don't get it. See, this is part of a bigger issue for me, and I've been harping on this on this pod for a while now, and I keep saying it, that there is a certain part of this country that is perpetuating the race war for some reason. I have no idea as to why, but why would you want civil unrest behind this? You know what comes with this. This man went to jail. You all have litigated and relitigated. Y'all keep saying that this man died because he was on fentanyl. Regardless if he was high or not, they attributed this man putting his knee on his neck for over 8 minutes as to the cause of the death. So I don't care whether he was high on crack cocaine, he was ODing at the time. Derek Chauvin assisted in this man dying. And it don't matter how many times you all try to relitigate this. It don't matter how many times you all try to point to the autopsy report. I don't care. They have already ruled that he attributed to this man's death, regardless. So why are you all wanting him to be pardoned by Trump on the federal level? I mean, you all got what you wanted. He is in a federal prison in Arizona. He is not in the state prison. But if you all want to go down this road, then he's going to go right back to Minnesota, where Tim Walz right now is the governor, and he's going to do 22 years in a state prison. You forget he still has a state conviction. And just because he gets pardoned on the federal level does not mean that that Tim Walz is going to be pardoning him on the state level. Derek Chauvin does not want to be in state prison. He requested to be in federal prison, and they granted him that. But now, if you all go back to this, he's going right back to where he was at. This makes no sense. It's as if you all want something to happen. Y'all want civil unrest. And that's what Minnesota, the state of Minnesota, is preparing for. They're preparing for civil unrest just in case Trump magically decides that he wants to pardon this man. There was no civil unrest really when Trump was in office, besides January 6th. So nothing has happened truly when he was in office. Not like this. I mean, this is ridiculous. I don't get it. I don't get it. There's a fascination with Derek Chauvin being pardoned, and you all trying to prove a situation. George Floyd lost his life with the assistance of this man, regardless of how y'all try to spin it. It ain't gonna change the fact, none whatsoever. And I don't understand why y'all keep wanting to go down this train and continue to haunt this family. This family cannot rest. You all will not let them have peace because you all keep wanting to bring this up and keep relitigating this. And you got congresswomen like Margie Taylor Greene out here spewing this crap. Seriously? Just dumb. For no reason. Well, it is a reason. I'm gonna say that. I'm not gonna say it's not a reason, because it is a reason. There is a reason why this is happening. It's a concerted effort being done for this to happen, and it's loud all over social media, and they asking Trump about it, and well, I don't know anything about it. Whatever, like you didn't know anything about them trying to shut down the Department of Education. You didn't know anything about Project 2025. You didn't know anything about all this. Yeah. I just don't get this. I don't. Leave this alone. I don't know what's trying to be perpetuated here. I don't know if people want to see people getting killed in the streets. I just don't know. I don't know. I don't even know what type of reaction would happen given the sincerity of what happened, the unrest but behind what happened in this case. I don't know what the public's persona is. But I know some people are talking about where's Black Lives Matter at, what blah, blah, blah. It's like they're trying to incite something. So it'd be curious to see what happens if this does happen. But I'm hoping that, Keith Ellison has already said that he's going to spend he's going to do his time in state prison if that happens. So I'm going to hold Keith Ellison to his word, and we'll see what goes on with that. But how y'all feel about this? Y'all let me know how y'all feel about this. Because me personally, this ain't a good one. This is stupid, it's idiotic, and it's borderline disastrous. So, but that's the show for tonight, y'all. So, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to be live back on Sunday. Another show. Whatever's hot, whatever's trending. If anything pops off in the Diddy trial, we'll talk about day 5. We'll talk about day 5 on Sunday. And then we'll get back into some other things that have popped off in the news over the last couple of days. So until next time, Culture Nation, keep it culture. See you later.